All right, ready?
I'm Meredith.
I'm Elise. And this is your 20s. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hope everything is going well in your life, even though we're amidst chaos.
Even though life is hell.
Life in 2020 is
2020
wild.
is a fucking nightmare, but it's fine.
But we're here doing this podcast all together.
Yeah, we're still doing it.
We're
so
still
good
doing
for us.
it.
We're in my mom's house today.
Yeah.
My mom's got like a pretty good setup though, so shout out to Gina.
Thanks, Gina.
Yeah, so I mean, we're working with what we got. So.
Yeah. So if you're new to this podcast, this is your 20s podcast where we talk about anything and everything in your 20s, obstacles you're gonna face. We tell really cool stories of young musicians, young creatives, young entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So today we have the RNBJune with us today. June Boateng is his real name, but he goes by RNBJune. Singer, songwriter, musician, wonderful soul, from what I can tell so far. No, but thank you for being here.
Thank you guys.
Do you want to just give like a rundown of introduction about something about yourself, tell the world?
No pressure, just
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been doing music for I don't know since probably about 2015. I enjoy doing music. I like to play basketball, but obviously my passion is music. So, but
yeah.
I mean, ask away.
Ask away. Yeah, we have lots of questions for you today.
And this has been like an episode in the works for a while now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like at least maybe over a month, but
yeah, it's been
so thanks for being patient with us,
Yeah,
and
sure.
Everything is just
crazy
it's
right
just,
now.
Everyone's like we're literally flying by the seat of our pants
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. So I drove down to Cincy today to do this episode, but we've been back and forth. We're looking in the next few months to just be in one place and have our own home studio. So that's in the future here, but we're making it work. But thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
For sure. So we'll kind of dive in with all these questions. I really want to get into your creative process and you as a musician. So you released your first music in 2017. What made you get into music? Like, what have you been singing your whole life, or was it just something you're like, all right, I need to put my foot down and do it because I love it?
Yeah, so I graduated from high school in 2013.
Okay.
I just started to, kind of get into music. My sister sings, like my brother, like we all sing. But my sister can really sing. That's where I, kind of got my singing from.
Is she older than you?
Yeah, she's 20. She gonna kill me. She's 29.
No, we're 20, so grab her on that show if we want
Yeah.
Runs in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started off like that. One day I just was like, man, I want to write a song. And I was like, just got done listening to Justin Bieber. And I was like, I'm about to write a Justin Bieber song. So I wrote it and showed my brother. He was like, yo, this is really good.
Wow.
So, yeah. So then after that, I was like, I guess I'm going to start doing it. So that's kind of how I started writing music. And
what year was that?
This was 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the song about? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
Okay.
It's so long ago.
It's always good to see the first song that you sat down and wrote, because I remember like being so for those listening, I also am a singer-songwriter, musician, whatever, but being like 6 years old, like making up songs in my head, like I didn't know really what I was doing, just like that it's instilled in you from a young age, especially if you're surrounded by a family of musicians and musically talented people. But that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And now, fast forward 2020.
Now I'm putting albums out and
Ooh!
singles
Crazy.
and stuff. Yeah,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
great.
Pause this episode right now if you're listening and go check RNBJune out on Spotify or Apple Podcast. No, Apple Music.
Apple Pie.
Apple Podcast. Check us out on Apple Podcast, but
Yeah.
check him out. Go listen to his stuff, and you guys will understand the context of this episode better, because his music is like, I can't even describe it. It's so beautiful. His voice, I'm just gonna brag on you a little bit.
it's very
His voice,
angelic.
like, and smooth too. Ooh, it's so
So
good.
basically, like this whole episode, we're just gonna be hyping him up.
Right. We're just gonna be complimenting his
Compliments after
music.
compliments.
No, but it's important to hear the music and then see the story behind it, and that's what I'm really curious about and excited to dive into that. But yeah.
Well, I think it's cool too because like I'm just wondering, I think when I listen to people on the radio, wow, I sound like I'm fucking 45 years old. When I turn on my AM FM station, oh my god, I'm so embarrassing. When I listen to my artists, I'm always kind of like, how the fuck did you start? You know, like,
right.
I feel like there's
How'd you
just
get
like
there?
this,
Yeah.
You idolize these people in a way where you're kind of like, they just must be like otherworldly in some way, but then I think it's really refreshing to like hear what you said, where you were just like, I want to write a song. You know what I mean? Like it just starts somewhere.
Yep.
And you know, you said you liked when you were a 6-year-old. So I mean, I think just having that reminder of the fact that like these people are just real people telling their stories that started off the way you did at one point too is just like refreshing and cool to me. So.
Right. That's the whole thing. Like your 20s, you don't really have shit figured out, or your career. You know what you're passionate about, but you don't have like you don't have the guidance. You don't have direction, and you're not where you want to be.
Right.
So like just navigating that, and then having hopefully this podcast is just like a journal entry for you, and you look back on it and you're like, damn, like I did that. I did it. I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's always our goal for sure. Keep going always with it.
Always.
So who is your biggest inspiration for music?
My biggest inspiration. I mean, it's changed, but from the jump, I would say it was Usher.
Okay.
Like that's like my guy.
Oh,
like I
geez.
started from 8701, Confessions, all of that. So, it's probably a mix between him and Frank Ocean. I like a lot of Frank Ocean.
Is he gonna put out any music anytime
I know.
soon?
Where are you, Frank?
I saw the funniest tweet the other day. It's like, did Frank like get lost on his way to the studio? Like, are you good? Like, do you need to be picked up? Like,
were you there, Frank?
Yeah.
Get to the studio.
Yeah. Do you need an Uber? I will call you one.
Where are you? No, that's huge inspiration for me as well.
Yeah,
like
love
his
Frank Ocean.
Songwriting capabilities, like
it's crazy.
I'm still trying to crack like a few songs, like what the meaning.
Right,
is.
like he makes you like listen to the song and it's like, what did he just say? And then you go back like 2 weeks later, you figure out what he said in that
and
line.
I catch
It's like, man,
things,
it's crazy.
new things
Right.
every time. I like, oh yeah, Frank Ocean is insane. What's your favorite Frank Ocean album?
Probably Channel Orange.
Okay, that's
yeah.
You can't compare. You
Yeah,
can't really.
love
Blonde was great,
I love Blonde too. So.
amazing, but Channel Orange was just like such a special time in my life when it dropped.
When was that? Like, what summer was that?
High school for us. That was probably.
Was it the summer after we graduated? Maybe?
No, I was a senior.
Okay.
Or a junior.
No, but you're totally right. Like, there's so many of his songs that like I just hear and it's just immediate nostalgia for like my old life.
One of them is
so sad.
Godspeed.
Love that
Oh,
song.
so good.
Like,
I love that song.
that's one of the songs that like I could listen to at any time of day.
Song's fire.
And I can listen to it 1,000 times and I won't get bored of it.
Yeah, song's fire.
So I have a question because you were talking about how you like, he has a way of writing that's like you're cracking a code almost.
Yeah.
What is your like inspiration for writing? Is it your thoughts? Is it poetry? Or is it more of just like, or is it a mix of both? Like, I just have a cool beat and I just want to make like, a catchy song versus I want to like really say something here. Like, what's your mission?
Yeah, so I think it just depends on the beat. So if I hear the beat, the first thing I do is lay down melodies. Like, so I'll have like a bunch of melodies in my head and I'll lay it down and then I'll figure out which are like, I guess, the catchiest parts of my melodies. And I start building off of that. So then I'll just have like a whole track full of just melodies.
Okay.
And then once I have that, that's when I start writing to it.
Okay.
So that's kind of my process of songwriting.
So you kind of like hum along, see what's catchy, and then
I'll literally, because I have my own studio, so at my
your house?
yeah, I do, in my basement.
goals. That's
So-
what I need. That's what I need.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So I literally hear the beat. I already have like a preset mix on my voice, and then I just go in there, come up with a melody, and then from then I just start writing my song.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would love to see your studio.
Yeah.
And just
It's
like,
pretty cool.
it's just a special thing to be in the space of people making music. Like
It's like their sanctuary.
Yeah, and it's just like especially for me, because I have such an appreciation for the process of music making, especially now. So last summer I released, actually around this time, my birthday's on Thursday, so I dropped it on my birthday last year, my 21st birthday. But I spent like the whole summer just surrounding myself with musicians, not really like, because I wanted to make a hit or blah, 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 just because I wanted to be around, wanted to learn. And that's the biggest advice I would say. We'll get into more advice later, but for young musicians, like just surround yourself with creatives
Music, yeah.
and people who have home studios, who took the time to make home studios, because you will learn
A lot.
more than you could get from a book, you know?
But also, you can learn a lot through YouTube. Everything's on YouTube.
YouTube University.
Like,
I should
how
have just went there, to
mix,
be honest.
all of that. Like, everything is literally
Well, it's
on
too late
YouTube.
now. We're all graduated,
Yeah.
so good for us.
Honestly, young kids are so lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky too, we have YouTube, but like, YouTube University is a real thing.
Everything's on there.
Everything.
Everything.
You would ever need to know.
Seriously.
Especially with like beat producing, and there's a lot of guys out there. Do you watch any of them or?
Well, my brother, he likes to watch people how they make beats and stuff like that and mix. Cause he mixes most of my stuff, like my vocals.
Wow.
I'm now starting to get into it, mixing. But everything that you need to know is on YouTube. Like, just watch YouTube and you'll have the sound that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So,
That's so cool.
That's how I learned how to edit, just like on Premiere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you open up like Logic or what's the system you use?
Logic, just different Reason, Pro Tools, Ableton. I use Logic. My
Okay.
brother uses Reason to make beats, and
Okay.
then we transfer over the beats over to Logic so I can record my vocals.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But opening up like those systems for the first time is so overwhelming.
It is.
And that's how I felt with Premiere. I remember last summer, so it's taken like a year to actually get comfortable with Premiere. So be patient, okay?
Yeah.
With anything that you're wanting to do. But I remember opening it up and I was like so overwhelmed. I just closed my laptop. I'm like, I can't. There's just too many
Yeah.
buttons. Like
Mhm.
I don't know anything. But then
Yeah.
YouTube really.
Well, and that's the thing with anything too. I mean, we talked about like how we started our podcast. We had the idea for so long.
We still don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
we're doing.
and it was like a
But we're doing it.
constant being like a feeling at the beginning. I remember we were so bogged down. We were like, how do we start? How do we do this? What if we don't do it right? Blah blah blah. And then one day we just like went in the
Released it.
studio and we're like, okay, we're just gonna do it. It was 14 minutes long, I think.
Yeah, go check out our first
Yeah,
episode. It is.
it was like we were literally just like, hi, we're here. Don't know what the fuck is going on, but
At
hello.
all, yeah.
And so I think like it's just, I don't know. I think it's a big old metaphor when you're in your 20s where like it could be producing music or editing videos or making a podcast, or for me like making our website, like literally just anything that you're doing. Don't give up because like the first glance at it or the first like dipping your toe in the water feels like there's so much I don't know, I'm just gonna give up.
Right.
It's baby steps. I mean, no one knew what the fuck they were doing when they started.
Right.
Trust
That's
the
thing, too.
process.
Yeah.
Trust the
exactly.
We literally have an episode called that.
Word.
Trust the process. That's
So.
awesome. Yeah. Wisdom right there.
I know, I have so much. I'm just loaded with wisdom.
I'm getting there. I gotta read up more. Also, do you
No,
read a lot?
everything's false. Like my wisdom is, it's fake confidence.
Oh, fake. I got it.
No, but it's,
No,
but
dang.
that's important. That's what you just have to fake it till you make it, and then
Yeah.
eventually you realize, I actually do know what I'm doing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
That's exactly what we're
Yeah.
doing with this podcast.
Yeah, it's
for
just
sure.
like pretend like everything's good, and someone will believe it. So, sorry, I'm like on fire
That's
today.
That's so funny.
I've had a lot so if you
I
can't
was just
tell.
about to say that.
Yeah,
My
she
eyes are
sips her
my
coffee.
pupils dilated.
She's like,
I'm
ready
locked
to go.
in, baby.
Locked in. So we kind of talked about like what music means to you.
Yeah.
But I guess what are your goals with music, and like what has music meant to you since 2017, and what does it mean to you now? Loaded question.
Yeah, for sure. I'll start with, my goals is obviously to be an artist, but I also enjoy the songwriting process. So, like, I like to write for other people. Like, that's a goal of mine.
Yeah.
So, as far as, what was the second part of your question?
What did music mean to you then? Has that changed from what it means to you now?
Yeah. I think at first I kind of was just doing it, like, for fun. You know what I'm saying? Just, like, sonically just wanting to hear what it sounds like and, like, make the best sounding music. But now it's just, like, I listen to certain artists like, Frank Ocean and, people that have, like, meaning into their songs. And I don't know, that kind of helped me to bring out my, me out into a track. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think, like, the more you do it, like we're talking about, the more comfortable you get with,
Yeah.
constant releases, and consistency is key. Like,
Yeah,
it really
it
is,
is.
especially with music.
Yeah.
I need to take my own advice with that. But but I'll get there. I know I'm not gonna stop until I'm where I want to be with it.
Yeah.
And that's like I've already decided that, so that's what it's gonna be. You know.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say. If you're truly in it and passionate enough about it, you're gonna do it. You're gonna get there. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Keep
Just
pushing.
keep going. You listen to Toby Lou?
Toby Lou?
Oh,
I
one
know.
of my favorite artists.
Who's Toby? Hold on.
He has a song, I'm a buff baby, but I dance like a you're a nice lady and she's shaking her ass.
I never heard
No?
that.
Alright, I'll show you
Yo,
afterwards.
dude, I ain't
He's
heard
so good, I
that.
love that.
Shout out Toby Lou
Alright.
and Toby Lou fans. One of my favorite artists.
I'll check him out.
He's one of the artists, one of my favorite artists because of his lyrics.
Gotcha.
He's so raw with what he says. And he talks a lot about mental health.
He sounds familiar. I don't know if I've actually listened to a song of his.
Yeah. I'll
But
show
yeah.
you. You have to show me
This
some
is so
artists.
funny because
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and like I am soaking in all of what you guys are saying. But this is like very niche for them, obviously. Like music is their
That's my
thing.
shit.
If someone were to start talking to me about the WTA tennis tour, I would be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like,
Observe, like, back and forth tennis.
yes, I see what you're saying. But it's interesting though to like watch two people. Clearly, your passions are both music. The way that your eyes light up when you guys talk to each other is funny to
It's
me.
real,
It's
yeah.
awesome. Like I
Yeah.
love when you get into a conversation with someone and you can it's visible to them. Their body language changes. Their eyes
When they're
change
excited
when they're
about it.
excited and passionate about something.
Yeah.
I just think that's, I don't know, that's really special to see in someone. And if you're ever a person, I think I've seen this tweet before, if you're ever a person where you're talking to someone and they're so excited about what they're talking about and you're not listening, like, don't be that person. Like,
Yeah.
be supportive.
Be
You know? 'Cause
present.
that, you don't know you don't have to know what the fuck is going on. I'm not really sure what the fuck is going on, but you can still learn from people, right? So that's the point.
Yeah, be present. Always.
Mhm.
Always
Try to
when
be.
you're. Try to be, yeah.
It's hard.
When someone's talking about what they love. Yeah, for real. So, let's see. We kind of went through all these questions.
Well, I'm
Ooh.
curious. Can I ask
Yes.
something? So you had talked about how you lay down a beat first before you write,
Yeah.
but you also want to be a songwriter.
Yes.
So do you have a journal of lyrics? Like, do you just kind of write what you see? Like, how does that work? Because I love writing. I write our blog posts, and for me, a lot of the times it's like kind of dead for 2 weeks, no thoughts,
Yeah.
and then I have like a surge of thoughts, and you like need to get them down, or
Yeah.
else
Right.
you forget. Is that
That's-
like I
mhm.
don't know? Are you like that, or are you more consistent with your thoughts?
I would say more consistent. I usually just hear a beat and whatever that feeling of the beat, like whatever it gives me from that beat, whatever I feel once I hear that beat, that's what I don't know. Like for some reason, that's just how it works. I really can't explain it. I just hear a beat and the melodies just literally just start coming to me like really fast, and then I start to hear like little words that I say in my melodies. Sometimes I like freestyle. That's pretty much what it is, freestyling.
Right.
And I'll hear something that I, did in my freestyle. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's what we need to talk about in this
That's
song.
cool.
So yeah.
That's a gift you have.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
really hard for some people.
Yeah,
Sometimes that's really hard for me because like I'm good at like getting lyrics. I'm really bad at finishing songs, but I'm good at always like making like the hook for it. But to have that ability to hear a beat and just kind of just ponder on it and then go from there, like a lot of people can't do that. Like that's how you know you were meant to be a musician. 'Cause
Yeah.
It comes. You said it comes so easily.
It
to
really
you.
does.
It's
It
like
does.
a feeling that's evoked from
The
like thoughts are
sounds.
evoked from sound. Like that's just crazy to
Yeah,
me.
it is.
That's awesome.
I'm very thankful to be in a musical family as well. My grandma actually lived her entire life where she had a condition where she constantly hears music, like a full orchestra. in
Your
her head.
Mamie?
Crazy.
No, different grandma.
Oh.
So my dad's mom.
Okay.
Her name is Karen. Her entire life she's heard music constantly
That's
in her
wild.
head. Isn't that crazy?
I've never heard of that.
I think that would be a blessing, but that also would be
Also
like,
kind of shut up.
like some points
You're
I
trying
would
to
like,
go to bed.
Right, I was about to say, you trying to go to
like
sleep.
and sometimes it would be like more present, like she would just be, I remember like memories as a kid, like she would just be sitting in her chair like looking out the window, and like she would be hearing a full
That's
orchestra
crazy.
just sitting looking out the window, and it'd be very loud in her head at that moment in time.
wow.
Like crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
I had never heard of that before, but she's
Yeah.
just such a caring person
like a
too.
musical
Like
savant.
music, right? Seriously, I'm like, wow, that's insane.
That's
Yeah.
I would not. God, I would go crazy.
She was
My
very
thoughts are like that
quiet.
already.
She didn't talk much, but like just
That's
such
so
a
good.
cool woman. And I didn't know really that she had that condition. Even
Right.
if it's not a condition, but that about her until like later in life. I think I was like 16, 17 when I found out, and I was like, that makes
That's
sense. She was
interesting.
always in her
Yeah.
head, you know.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's wild.
I know you wanted to talk about "Letter to You," which was a song you released.
Yeah.
When did you release that?
That was
Let's see it.
last year.
Okay, 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, this year.
Actually, was it that? Yeah, it was 2020.
2020.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This year feels
This
like
time right.
this year feels like a whole decade
Yes,
within itself.
yes,
so I feel
Guys,
that.
it's August.
It's
Have we processed that? It's fucking August. It was just January 1st.
yeah, I know.
Like, I know people say that all the time, but like more than any time in my life have I, like, time is not real, first
In this
of all.
year, no, it's
this
not.
year is.
Because it felt so long. Like March, April felt so long to me,
Yeah.
and then everything else was just like a blur.
I feel like I'm going back to school too. It's just like,
And this is the first year we're not going back to school.
I know.
I think we're living in the
Wow.
Twilight Zone right now.
It's a weird time.
Hey 20s fam, make sure you go check out RNBJune's new music.
She's a ghost.
So we're gonna shift gears a little bit and
Yeah.
talk to like June, but like I want to
R&B
say
June.
R&B June.
You can call me
I
R&B
think
June. Do
R&B
people call you
R&B
R&B
June?
June, or
Just like
Some people
flows
do.
very nicely.
Yeah.
What would you
Um,
prefer?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
June or R&B June doesn't matter.
I like the name June too. I just feel like you don't hear that name at all.
Actually, I forgot to ask you right at the beginning, but how'd you get R&B June? I know your real name is June, but
So my real name is actually Emmanuel.
okay,
I have my dad's name. So I'm
Okay.
a junior.
okay.
So from junior,
Oh.
they call me June.
What?
Yeah.
I like that.
So, yeah.
Got
so
it.
They call me June. So then I came up with, well, actually, me and my friend, I was trying to figure out like an artist name, and I didn't want it to be June because that name is so, broad. You know, it would be hard to find on Apple Music or
Yeah.
Google Play, whatever. So I'm like, okay, well. He's like, well, I mean, you make R&B music. He's like, R&B June. I was like, all right, it's
I
cool.
like it.
Let's
And
go with that.
it's smooth. It's
It really flows very nicely. If I were an artist, what would my name be? Can
Let's
we come up with
think.
mine? Tits McGee.
That's
I was gonna say something about your tits.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We could also
I mean, people
unpack
called me
that
Tits
because
McGee in high school, so that was kind of not.
I also,
very
Mary, I
nice.
really want to do an episode with a female music artist and talk about in the industry how women just have to like have the full package, like the body, blah blah. I guess every
Yeah.
musician you have to have that presence, and they have like a certain standard for what you should look like. But I would be so curious to get like a woman's perspective
Yeah.
in the industry on that.
But also, like, from a male perspective, like, do you ever feel like extra pressure to like not only have, I mean, the sound, but there is like, like a
Look.
Gotta have the
look,
looks. Gotta have
the
looks.
package, like whatever that
Also, you gotta be
is.
good on camera. Like you gotta be able to
Um,
be good on the stage. Like it's more than just writing lyrics and.
Right. I don't think you necessarily have to be like this extravagant, good-looking dude. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like in today's day, you don't really have to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to have
True.
like a cool aesthetic. Whatever your aesthetic is, you just keep it that
Yeah.
way. You know, like
You just have to be true to whatever it
right.
is you are.
You know, someone like I'm trying to think. I mean, Bryson Tiller. I mean, he's not clean and clean. You know what I'm saying? Like he is, but then sometimes he's just like a regular dude wearing a hat, some earrings,
Yeah.
and like
He raps
looks
about
like what
wanting-
everyone else
right.
is like. You know what I mean? Like
He raps about wanting to just be a regular
normal,
guy.
right?
Yeah.
And I just think you don't have to look, up to what people think you have to look like.
Mm-hmm.
For example, even someone like Lizzo or Pink,
Yes.
Pink Sweats. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Lizzo
don't have
changed
to,
the game.
You don't gotta look like that.
Especially for
like,
women. Yeah.
yeah, just be yourself.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta be.
Also, like Meghan Trainor with the whole like that song "All About That
Mhm.
Bass."
I love that
That
song.
was amazing for me as a woman to hear,
Right.
and for that song to blow up, I was like, things
No,
are
it's
changing.
kind of a
Right,
shift. I
right.
think maybe that was 2016, I
yeah,
want to say.
when that song came out.
But I feel like from there, things have, from what I've noticed at least, shifted a little bit. Just like you don't have to necessarily be like your prepackaged
Right.
artist. Like
And
you
Lizzo's
can,
a big, example of representation for women. Yeah,
Mhm.
Lizzo, I mean, the fact that we live in a world now where someone who looks like Lizzo
Mhm.
is as big as she is,
Yeah.
that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she's talented.
Yeah,
It shouldn't
she
be
is.
about what
it should be about
her
talent,
size
yeah.
is. It should be
Right.
about her voice is amazing. She has great energy on stage, and
Yep.
Yeah. Did
I
you know
agree.
she was working to be an artist for 10 years and she almost gave up?
Yeah, I actually seen she was like interviewing. I forget who it was. She was interviewing someone. She was like low-key doing what you guys are doing right now. So
Hey.
and then like all of a sudden she just like blows up off
Yeah.
of that song.
You just
so,
never know.
yeah.
You need that
It
one
would just
hit.
be your one break, you know.
Yeah.
She
It's
said,
crazy.
she's like, I almost gave up. 10
Mhm.
years
She
in the
used to
making.
I think I saw, I don't know exactly what she did, but she used to like dress up as the Statue of Liberty and like
That's crazy.
spin
I saw
signs
that.
or something.
I
Like she
saw
was
that.
like a sign spinner for something or other on the side of the road. Just like,
Yep.
it's just crazy.
Everyone has a journey.
That's
Yeah. No one's, unless you're like Beyonce's child, unless you're Blue Ivy and you are
Right.
literally born into a billionaire family.
But imagine the amount of pressure she must. Well, she's 5, so she might have
That
not
she
have
will
pressure
feel.
that she
Yeah.
will feel. Yeah.
At some point, yeah.
Not
probably.
maybe not even from Beyonce and Jay-Z, but from the rest of the world.
The world.
You know,
I
they're gonna
always wonder
expect
that.
her
Like,
to be-
at what point do celebrities' kids understand who their parents are?
yeah, like
like
the
at-
Kardashian kids.
At what point will North understand, like, holy shit, the whole world knows my name?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Isn't that crazy?
Well,
Like, that's such a
I
different
don't know if I would
childhood.
want that.
yeah. I mean,
Grass
but,
isn't always greener.
yeah, a lot of these kids is getting onto these social networks real early.
Oh,
You know,
I
like
know.
TikTok.
TikTok.
So
You have a TikTok?
I do, but I haven't made a video yet. I'm coming with it.
Trump just banned it.
You better
Trump
do it
just-
fast.
Nah,
do all the
no,
TikToks that
no, it's-
He
you
said it was going to, but I don't know if he
Oh,
actually.
see.
I don't know if it's actually gonna happen. I'm not sure, but I do love TikTok. TikTok's
I like
hilarious.
TikTok.
It's funny.
No, it's just crazy. I mean, we live in a like. I'm only 22, but like I didn't even have that social media when I was younger. And girls, and guys, like you see all these trends and these aesthetics that like they're just. You can't be a kid anymore. Everything,
Yeah.
every decision that you make is shaped off of what is popular for 6 months, and then you shift. And it's like it just.
Yeah.
I would imagine that type of pressure could create like a serious identity crisis
Yeah.
with a young person.
Definitely.
Because you still don't, your brain's developing. You don't know what the fuck is going on. I still don't know what the fuck is going on, you know? So I can't imagine that extra amount of just imagery that you're like,
In comparison.
whether or not you're realizing it, like subconsciously taking it on a daily
Yeah.
basis is just
Yeah.
nuts to me.
It is nuts. I tweeted a couple weeks ago, like, when is like social media just gonna like stop? Will it ever just stop?
Probably
And
not.
then I did a poll. I'm like, do you think life would be better without it? And like overwhelmingly, people
Yeah.
voted life would be better without it.
We're gonna segue into talking about June's full-time career.
Yeah.
And-
So aside from music,
Yeah.
Mhm.
what do you do?
So I got my bachelor's degree in psychology last year, and I ended up getting a job at the Tauber House in Cincinnati. It's like a mental health facility where I help like people with schizophrenia, bipolar, just pretty much help them to live, like, you know, get them. Some people are homeless. I have to find them homes. Pretty much everything that you
Just
can
having,
think
like,
of
a
is
good
what,
quality of life.
Yes.
That's
So,
great.
That's amazing.
yeah.
You have
So
to be a very patient person to,
nah, for sure, definitely.
you know, have that energy, be
Mhm.
around that energy. You
Yep.
know, you got to be very.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Well, and I'm curious too. So it's a 9 to 5 job, which a 9 to 5 job as it is can suck the life out of you. And then
definitely.
this type of 9 to 5 job, I would imagine, amplifies that even more. So how do you find like the energy and the time to make space for your creative process and your music? Like
Yeah.
I would imagine that's kind of difficult.
Right. So with my job, I make my own schedule.
Oh,
So
that's good.
That is so nice.
I'm able to, you know, get my hours in because I think we need about 27 hours each week to make of UR. So once I meet that, then pretty much you're like good. But anyways, yeah. So it's kind of hard. Like I come from work and my drive too is like 40, almost 40
Yeah.
minutes. So it's like
Ooh.
I'm tired after work, go home, and then I got to start working on stuff like musically, and it's just like
It's hard
It's hard to
to have
balance.
that creative energy. It takes
Yeah.
a lot to write
Mhm.
music and just like have that creative energy ready to
Right.
go. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
always like good for me to set aside a day where I can
Mhm.
just like am mentally prepared to write a song. And I'm mentally prepared to do music today.
Yeah.
But if you're just exhausted from a long day, like
I mean, sometimes it gets like that. There's days where you're just like, man, I can't think of nothing. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
I just try to. My goal is to try and do music every day, like touch something. You know, so.
Just like putting it in your schedule.
Yeah.
Even if it's like
schedule.
10 minutes.
Even if it's 10 minutes, it's something. You know, if you enjoy doing something, you're gonna do it. You know.
So I want to get into Letter to You and what that song writing process looked like and what that song means to you. That's one of my favorite of your songs for sure. So yeah, what was the story behind that?
Okay, so so I was in this relationship for about 12 years.
What? Wait. Oh, back the fuck up. 12 years?
So
you're
when
25.
When did it start?
When you were 12?
Yeah, seems about right.
Sorry, I don't mean to be judgmental.
That's beginning of high school.
Yeah.
12?
Nah,
No,
I was 12. I was
middle
middle school.
Okay, yeah, middle school. Okay,
she was a couple years older than me. So.
Okay.
But yeah, so we had just kind of like broke up, and I decided that I wanted to, I heard this beat, and I was like, man, I want to write something like about, the whole situation, or just, something that relates to us breaking up. So, and that was probably one of the quickest songs I ever wrote. Like,
wow.
I think it was an easier, process for me because it's something that like really I felt like it was gonna mean something. Mm-hmm. So so that song was about me like giving my letter to her, like, hey, like this is
letter
like
to you.
Yeah, like this is the last thing like that I have for you type thing. Yeah.
Now I know that like next time we hear the song, the lyrics are gonna hit different for sure.
12 years, so that's like your entire adolescence.
Yeah.
That song's probably heavy.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song too.
Wow.
Did you make the beat as well, or?
No, actually, the beat was actually from YouTube. That's
Okay.
like one of the only songs that I have that's from YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
perspective right there. Everyone go listen to that song right now.
Yeah.
Letter to You, RNBJune. Wow, I love songs with just like so much of your heart and meaning to it. That's beautiful. That's what music's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I hate songs that are just like, I don't hate them because catchy songs are not bad.
Right,
but
right.
songs like, okay, I'm not gonna shit on Justin Bieber. I understand he's a great artist, but when Yummy came out. And that song is just like catchy as fuck. I love that song. Mm-hmm. But there's two different types of songs, in my opinion. There's like from my heart and soul experiences, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like, I just want to make a hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that Letter to You won't be a hit.
No,
but
for sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's
I definitely know what you mean. I love Justin Bieber.
Me
That's
too.
my guy.
You got that? That's a banger.
So fire. But I think, I've heard that video has some like meanings behind it. I don't really know.
Oh, I was unaware. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, you can look it up for yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. So lesson learned. Sometimes there is meaning in songs that are
and I think
stupid.
it's cool that you can do both. You don't have to be bogged down to one. Like,
right.
Oh, I feel like I have to write deep, meaningful lyrics all the time. Like sometimes you just have moments, I would imagine, where you're like, I like this beat. I just want to make it cool. There's nothing more to it, you know, and that's cool too.
I have so much respect for artists who write their own stuff, especially when you get like A-list celebrity.
Yeah.
If you can write your own after and keep up with with your career, like so much respect.
Yeah, most people actually don't do that, because it's like it's just too much stuff that you have like to do. Like you're going on tour,
in the
you're
press,
doing rehearsals, you're recording, so you have songwriters that write songs for you. So I mean, that's why.
Sorry, I didn't
No, go
cut
ahead.
you off.
No.
You know Julia Michaels?
Yeah.
She used to be a songwriter, and then she.
So did Meghan Trainor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they transitioned into performance, which I just think is.
It happens all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you want to songwrite.
Yeah,
specifically.
I definitely would love to be a songwriter
and perform, right?
And also be an artist for sure. Yeah,
you can do both.
You can definitely do both.
You can do whatever you
want. Do you prefer one to the other?
No, but I'm finding a passion in actually writing for other people. Like, yeah.
Awesome. I love that. I love to hear that.
So, when you write for someone else, do they give you kind of an idea of what they're looking for, or is it something that they'll just like take off of you, like work that you've already done that they like, that they're inspired by?
No, so it would be like if I hear something that I feel like that artist would do, then I'm able to write in that perspective.
Oh, okay.
So have wrote for people like just like on a not like a big scale, but yeah, I've wrote in a female's perspective, and I don't know.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting. I didn't realize I could do that until I actually did it. So,
How
yeah.
like what do you? So you said you had an older sister. Do you
Yeah.
like tap into her experiences when you're writing from a female perspective?
No, I don't. I honestly, I just
Put yourself in.
yeah, I put
That's
myself
cool.
in that perspective, or if I'm around people that have a situation, I'm a quiet person, so I like to listen, and I just soak in all that information, and I'm able to put myself in that perspective. Yeah. So
When's your birthday?
November 19th,
What's your sign?
Scorpio.
I'm really big into astrology.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know
Scorpio.
much about.
You just
each
giggled
of the
so.
signs. No, it's just interesting. To,
When's your
to know.
birthday?
When's your birthday? It's
Yeah,
coming up though.
It is coming up.
Are you gonna be 26?
I'm gonna be 26.
Wait, what day is your birthday?
November 19th.
Okay, Jace is the 22nd.
Oh, that's her
He's a
boyfriend.
Scorpio.
Scorpio.
I think
yeah.
so.
What does that mean? Do we know?
Do you know? I mean, are you into
I
astrology?
want to look it up. So you know, Scorpio traits.
I don't know. We're the best.
Yeah, okay. He's like, I just know we're the shit. That's all. That's all.
Okay.
I know nothing about Scorpios.
You are determined and brave
Mm.
and loyal and honest and ambitious
Nice.
and jealous
Oh wow.
and secretive and resentful and controlling and stubborn.
Oh yeah. So we get the gist.
Okay, got it. Okay, fuck. It started out really good.
You're like, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah,
I
honestly.
mean, you can't have the good without the bad, right?
Right. I don't think astrology really like it's 100% for everyone, but in my experience, my signs are like pretty spot on. So I'm not gonna say it's like the end all be all.
I don't know, man. There's
But it
sometimes
is so
where
interesting
I
to
read
me.
it and I'm like, yes, oh my god, that's me, and then I read it and it's
You're
like,
like, what the fuck?
no,
Yeah,
not
that's
it
not
at all.
me.
So
That's
I
funny.
think it depends on the state of mind you're in too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I don't know.
Okay, so I want to get into some advice you would give to new music makers or anyone, any musician. So what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
20. That was 5 years ago.
It can be anything about the person you are now.
My
about
20-year-old self, or just like before, like when I first started. Like what would I change? Like when I first started.
either or. I'll let you have free reign of that question. However you want to take
I
it.
think a lot of the times we search for, we try to find people that have like recording studios and stuff like that, and that becomes expensive. So like, instead of doing that, I feel like you should, invest in yourself and go on YouTube and look at the stuff that you need to build a home studio. I think having a home studio is the best way to go, and I feel like that's where we're headed now. So that's what I would tell myself would be to get a studio way earlier than what I did. So
How long have you had the studio?
since 2016,
Okay.
but I wish I would have started earlier.
Yeah.
So, but
That's good
that's what I
advice.
would tell people.
Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself. If that's
for
what you
sure.
want to do, you should definitely research, figure out, what kind of microphone, what kind of interface, how to mix, all that stuff. You need to like invest in yourself. So
So
that's
just
how I
like
feel about it.
logistically, I'm also just really curious too, because I need to take that advice and have a home studio. But how much money would I have to set aside to make a home studio?
Man, it just
If you could estimate
It just depends. Like, so a lot of times people think, getting the most expensive stuff is the best stuff, but that's not necessarily true. You could buy a $100 Focusrite interface, and it would sound like the interface that I have. I have a UAD, which was almost $900 for that interface.
Wow.
But that's because it has like other like plugins that's like inside of the interface. But
Okay.
Yeah, I would say roughly 2,000, maybe 1,000, maybe 1,000,
Couple
2,000.
Couple
Because you need the speakers, you need the microphone, you need the interface, and then you need the software, whatever software you're using. So if it's Logic, I think Logic runs like 250 or 200, something like that.
Okay.
And then Reason is probably 300, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Can't remember, but that's how much you would be spending. So around
Yeah.
1,500,
Okay.
somewhere around there. Yeah.
So I know, like, for me now, that I used to think that was a lot of money, and I still kind of do, but in the grand scheme of things, 2K, 3K for a home studio is not a lot of money.
It's not at all.
It's not.
Yeah, you have to
work,
start thinking about
work
the
for it.
long-term investment too.
Yeah.
That's definitely, I feel like, something that I've learned this year, especially as I've graduated, is the value of a dollar is just changed. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make it any less expensive when you're paying for it, but if you start to think of, well, why am I buying this? How long is this going to last me? What
How
type
is
of
it gonna help
quality am
me?
I going to get out of it? Sometimes, spending an extra $100 or so on a different piece of equipment or whatever it may be that you're investing in is well worth it, because you're going to end up, if it's shitty, you're going to spend the same amount of money trying to fix it
Right.
that you're going to spend if you just buy the good shit in the first place.
Right.
And
Very true.
that's not to say that, like, just go spend your money. Like, obviously we're not saying, like, for some people they might not have that, but
Right.
if that's something that you do, saving is something that who said, like, I wish I would have learned, it was in one of our episodes, who's like, I wish I would have told myself to just stack my money. Like, honestly, I mean, and I'm learning that now, just whether
Same.
it's music or whether it's a home you're living in or your space, like, if that is something that is your sanctuary, your sacred space, and you want to create it to be that for yourself, then you need to put the
Right.
time and the money into
And
it.
that's very important in creating music, is like where you are who you're with when you're creating music. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
and
and
no
the
one-
vibe and the feeling that you get when
Right.
you step into your studio. It
Yeah.
should be like, I mean, I this is a silly example, but for my first apartment, I was like, I want my room to be, because it's a
Your
small
place.
space,
Yeah.
I want my room to be my sanctuary, my place that I can escape to at the end of the day, and so I'm willing to invest the money that I need to in it to get it to be where I want it to be. I mean, it changes the way you want to come home, and it changes the energy that you give when you are home. And if that's
Right.
something that, like, you're coming from a full-time job, you need to be in an environment that's going to inspire you.
Right.
You're
If you don't-
excited.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
True.
So.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have an episode on money here soon, multiple episodes on money, just like different aspects of money. Because I swear, like, coming into after college, I still feel like I don't know shit about money. So
I don't know
taxes
about
and loans and all that. So we're going to get into that in
Yeah.
other episodes. But the sooner you start investing in yourself and learning about money, the better off you're going to be. And I've learned that, I'll be thankful at 26 or 30 that I started, like, saving and putting aside money for what I actually want to do with my life when I was 21,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a life
Yeah, build
lesson.
your empire now.
For sure.
Well, and I think a studio too, it's not something that you can just dish out like a ton of money and get everything at once. I would imagine that's something that you build over time, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's a work in progress.
So I want to kind of talk about, like, your accomplishments as a musician so far. So I know we know this, but tell about your performing live experience and where you got to do that and who you got to open for.
Gotcha.
Which is really cool.
He just like very casually dropped this like in our conversation before we started
The
recording,
episode.
FYI. So just wait till you hear this. And my jaw dropped, but
So I was performing with a rapper. His name was Picasso. He's from Middletown. Shout out to Picasso.
Shout out.
Yeah, so he gave me an opportunity to perform with him, and we were opening up for Juicy J at Bogart's.
Come on.
That
now.
was probably one of the most scariest moments I ever experienced, because
How many people were in the
there was a
crowd?
lot of people in the crowd, and it was my first time performing.
That was your first
My
experience?
first time performing was that, and I was like,
were you
Wow.
sober?
yeah.
I would have gotten so hammered that, well,
It was wild.
I would have had ripped a few before I went on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
sure.
probably would have too. That's ooh.
Yeah. It was
What's that
wild.
feeling of, like, just standing on that
It's like
stage?
euphoria.
That's, I'm sure, like, as an artist, I dream of that. Like, that's my end goal. I want to be in front of that many people. And I
Yeah.
know I could do it, but I think, like, I have never felt
You
that.
won't know until you actually.
I know,
do it.
that's the thing. How do you put into words what that felt like?
I mean, it was crazy. Like, just seeing everyone just like looking at you, just staring at you. I'm just like, man, I can't mess up. You know what I'm saying? But it's nerve wracking, but it's also exciting at the same time.
That's
so,
amazing.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That like gives me chills because I know that feeling. And
Performing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done it nearly as much as you guys have,
Yeah.
but I do remember it, even on small scales, and there is nothing like it. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
especially, like, when the curtains open or when you first see the crowd for the first time, you're like,
Breathtaking.
holy shit, they're here
Yeah.
for me.
Mhm.
That is so,
I know.
chills.
I miss it. I
Yeah.
miss that feeling for sure.
And I feel like that is what most artists that are doing it for the right reasons are.
Yeah.
Like, they're chasing that feeling, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's so cool to me. Wait, so you said you were very nervous.
Yeah.
And you said that you barely had a voice, right?
Yeah, I was so sick. I had pneumonia. Man, it was really bad. I felt like I was off balance I dealt with, I think it's called vertigo, for almost a year and a half.
It was terrible.
Oh my god.
It was bad. Yeah, I lost like probably 20 to 30 pounds during that time.
You were like,
But I still did it because it was an opportunity. So,
Yeah.
you know, but
wow.
yeah.
And what did you like learn from that first performance?
I would say I would say just being more confident, and you know, I think a tip that works is if you are nervous, just look at the back of the room, and I think it was helpful for me the next time I performed. So I mean, yeah, that's what I would say.
Did the nerves like go away as you were performing, or were you just nervous the whole time?
Yeah.
Because in my experience, they do go away after a while. You're like, oh, this is
You get
fun.
used to it,
I
yeah.
wanna stay up
Yeah,
here.
I would say for that performance itself, I was nervous the whole way through just because I was sick and I was like not sure how I was gonna sound. But like the second time that I had performed, I would say I was nervous initially, but as I kept doing more songs, it was just like, all right, I'm cool. Like, you know,
That's amazing.
yeah.
What an experience. Like,
Bogart's, like, for people that don't know Cincinnati,
I didn't know, yeah.
it's like a concert venue. It's not like when he said my first time I was just, you know, opening up, like, for first of all Juicy J, like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like, no big deal.
Shout out our friend Maisie because she loves Juicy J.
Oh, yeah,
She's gonna
she
freak
does.
out when she hears this.
But like Bogart's is not like a tiny little like I'm just playing at an open bar type of deal. Like that, like people will
It's
buy
a venue.
tickets. It's a venue.
It's a
like
venue.
that's very impressive. So
Wow. Congrats.
yeah,
Thank you.
We're so excited to see
where you
go
with this.
Yeah.
with music. Like,
Definitely.
you're already just such an incredible artist.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And it's good for artists to have that
Mhm.
affirmation from others. Like, oh, okay, like that, my song that meant so much to me also means something to someone. I
Yeah.
know, like, that's one of my goals as well. Like,
Yeah.
if I can touch someone with my music,
Mhm.
that's all I need.
Yeah.
That's all I need. But you have, like,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
listened to his song Vacation. I think I said this in the beginning, but his song Vacation, I literally listen to it every day. Like, it's like on my playlist, everything, and I'm just like thankful to meet you even. But
Yeah,
thank you for
thanks.
being here.
For
And
sure. Thank you for
Share
having me.
your socials too for everyone so that they can find you.
Yeah, my Instagram handle is RNBJune. It's all one word. And
Got it.
Instagram, Twitter, Apple Music, Google Play, all of that. So that's
Cool.
where you'll find me.
Everywhere.
Follow me.
What social media do you use most? Instagram, would you say?
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to get better with, Twitter and stuff like that. But
Okay.
yeah, really Instagram.
Gotcha.
Alright.
Cool.
Mhm.
Go check out his music.
Yes.
Follow him. Support this artist because
Do you have any
Talented
shows
man.
coming up that you know of?
Any shows?
Yeah.
Or any performances?
Nothing right now.
Okay.
Especially with this whole coronavirus stuff
That's
going on. So
right.
like, no.
Forgot
But,
about that for 2 seconds.
yeah,
Yeah.
crazy that we're living in a pandemic.
mhm,
Wild.
So,
Wild.
no.
But you'll have to let us know when your next, venue or fucking shit balls. When your next
That would work.
performances are and
Yeah,
what
definitely.
venues they are located
What
at,
venues
so that we can
right.
share with our followers and all that good stuff.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
Do we want to do the thing?
Yeah, so what we do is we have a little saying.
Mm.
I guess we forgot to tell them in the beginning, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. We'll just do it. But thank you all for listening. Go check out our blog posts on our website.
Yeah.
Because Mare has been writing her ass off, and the last one is like my favorite
Trying
by far.
to, yeah. Talking
so-
about getting rid of toxic people in your life.
Yeah, that's not a light subject. That's a process for sure. But
Yeah.
go check it out. Yeah, go check out our website. Give us a review on if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio. Means a lot to us.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
So without further ado, ready?
Are
You may
gonna-
not have. Oh.
My gosh!
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna go first. You go first.
Oh, you may not have your shit figured out.
But that's okay.
This is your 20s.
There
Bye.
we go.
Love y'all.